Now, I'd like to speak to you this morning regarding blacks in the Democratic Party. There's so much confusion out there right now as to why black people mostly vote Democrat. Some want to proclaim that we vote Democrat because of handouts, freebies. Some want to proclaim that because we vote Democrats, we're on a Democratic plantation and we ought to vote Republican. But there's a story behind why we vote Democrat. Up until 1960, blacks as a whole voted for Dwight D. Eisenhower, a Republican. In 1960, Nixon was campaigning against John Fitzgerald Kennedy from Massachusetts in the presidential election. Kennedy's platform was to do away with one of the platforms, was to do away with the Jim Crow laws of the South. That's when he was elected in 1960. Barry Goldwater in 1964, I think it was anti-civil rights, a Republican. And so we go from Eisenhower in the 50s and being asked to vote Republicans in the 60s, with the Republicans now coming out against civil rights. It was in the 1960s, early 60s, that we had the Freedom Rides. Blacks and white taking transportation across the country to break down those Jim Crow laws of separate, 2 water fountains, back of the bus, 2 separate eating places. A lot of people were beaten and abused during that time frame. The Selma march across the Selma Bridge, where many were water hosed and beaten with nightsticks by Bull Connors and dogs turned on them. But Kennedy was insistent on doing away with those laws. So when John Kennedy was killed in 1963 in Dallas, Texas, his vice president, Lyndon Johnson, a Southerner, carried the mantra. And what happened with Lyndon Johnson and the Democrats? They were able to pass the 1964 Civil Rights Act. I think it was 64. 1965 Voting Rights Act. Medicare, Medicaid. Black people started to vote Democrat. Richard Nixon, when he ran, received 18% of the black vote because they perceived him to be a moderate Republican. But they found out that was not the case. So blacks started to vote Democrat, not because of a handout, but because of equal rights, because of civil rights that we've been fighting for the last 55 years. Equal rights to housing, to employment. The discrimination against blacks simply just for being black is a battle that has been ongoing for a long time. So black Democrats have voted Democrats not because of handouts, as Nixon and Reagan would have you believe, with the Nixon strategy to get the white Southerners to vote Republican, and the Reagan strategy to make you believe that black folks just wanted a handout with the welfare queen. So they pulled the white Southerner into the Republican Party by making them believe that black people just wanted a handout. Nixon said the biggest threat to the Republican Party was the black vote. And so now, the last time whites voted, they voted for Jimmy Carter, white Southerners, voted for Jimmy Carter in the 80s and voted for Bill Clinton. But they haven't voted Democrat since. So the white Southerners moved over, the ones that would have kept black people in slavery, the one that would have kept us under Jim Crow laws. Those those white Southerners moved over into the Republican Party. The Democratic Party that you see today is not the Democratic Party of your grandfather. The Democratic Party you see today is a progressive Democratic Party that's trying to ensure equal rights for black people and all marginalized people that are suffering in the face of discrimination. When you see a population, people that's only 13% of the population, but their unemployment rate is twice as high as the white population, that should start to tell you something. That's not black folks asking for a handout. That's not black folks asking for anything free. That's black folks asking to be treated equal and stop being discriminated against. And with the Republican Party, they know that was never going to happen. Because the purpose of the Republican Party is to look out for the rich and the well-off. It is not to look out for the masses, poor whites, blacks, the marginalized. That is not the purpose of the Republican Party. So if anybody tells you that the blacks are on the Democratic plantation, they either don't know their history or they're just being stupid on purpose. Blacks very well know why we vote vote Democrat. And we vote Democrat for change because it was Democrats that did away with the Jim Crow laws of the South and has tried to break down the housing, discrimination, and things of that level that has kept black people poor and out of the mainstream in terms of equal rights for a long time. If anybody tells you, especially any black person, tells you to vote Republican because of Lincoln, that party doesn't exist anymore. The party of Lincoln has died. The party of Trump is dying. Anybody asks you to vote Republican that's black is either getting paid or is a Russian troll. Black people vote Democrats because Democrats are for equal rights. Democrats are for equal pay for equal work. Democrats are for health care. Democrats are for educational opportunity, student loan relief. Democrats stand for a lot of issues that's going to benefit black people. Mass incarceration, prison reform, against mass incarceration. So know why you vote Democrat and know why you vote Republican. Because under the Republican Party, they left the black vote when they decided that they were not going to support equal rights. Even Strom Thurmond of the South, which was one of the stalwarts of segregation, went Republican. That's why blacks vote Democrat. Because the people that would keep us in slavery, the people that would keep us humiliated and degraded under the Jim Crow laws are now Republicans. Know why you vote Democrat. And it has nothing to do with welfare because the welfare system was not set up for black people. It was set up for widowed old white women. So don't let anybody fool you. You're not voting Democrat because you're black. You're voting Democrat because the Democratic Party looked out for black folks in the days when it was not popular. And we're still fighting that fight to bring equal rights to all Americans. Thank you.